Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be passing her tests. Well, I got two emails I'm going to go through with you. The first one's a little lengthy. I normally don't do emails that are that long, but this guy's got a lot of really good detail, and it's perfect with the topic. And so he's made a lot of progress as far as stating up for himself and what he wants, and he thinks he's doing a pretty good job of passing this girl's test, but he's not quite there yet. And then the second email is a guy that did a lot of the similar things to the first guy's email, but now he's with the girl that he really wanted, and she asked him to be her man. So with that said, I got a quote that I wrote, and then we'll jump into the first guy's email. And the quote says, "If you are not strong enough to stand up for yourself and what you want to the woman of your dreams, she's never going to be comfortable and attracted enough to respect you and ask you to be her man. A weak man who is too afraid to let a woman go when she is rude, disrespectful, and takes him for granted will never be able to get out of the friend zone. Relationships are a two-way street. Unfortunately, most men who don't know any better get run over in both directions." So let's go to the first guy's email. He says, "Hi Corey, I've been watching your videos for several months and recently purchased the Kindle version of your book." And for those of you that may be new, he's talking about 3% Man, which is my first book. You can read it for free at understandingrelationships.com. All you got to do is subscribe to the email newsletter. He says he's on his second read now and he's only got 8 more to go. Well, I would say 10 to 15 times ideally. Like I said, when you know the information in the book backwards and forwards, it becomes instinctual. When you only read it a handful of times, then you're like trying to game out everything a woman says or does, and then you end up coming off like a robot, and you're just not going to be very effective. Because the whole book teaches you a mindset, and that's what you're going to see here in this email, is that there's this guy's old mindset is still creeping in, but he's still relatively new to the material. He says, "I need help with a woman who I want to spend my life with." Easy, slow your roll, dude. This is a lot of things guys do. They see a girl, they project their fantasy onto her. This is my dream woman. And you're going to see some red flags for those who've been following me for a while, and you're going to go, "Dude, what are you thinking?" He says, "We met on Bumble about a year ago and have dated on and off." Why would you want your dream woman that you're dating on and off? Should be easy and effortless. But then again, he's trying to improve his game. He says, "Our chemistry is off the charts, but we have not been in the right place to make a long-term relationship happen. From the age of 19, she was trapped." So now he's rationalizing for her, making all the excuses. It's going to be a white knight, Captain Savaho. He says, "From the age of 19, he was trapped in a bad marriage with a lying, cheating husband. She divorced him 5 years ago and has been dating all kinds of guys." So typically what you see in these situations is that women, or men for that matter, that are with people that lie and cheat, like attracts like. And birds of a feather tend to flock together. So look for some of these patterns coming up. He says she's been engaged to 3 different men, but has broken it off every time because she's afraid of being trapped. I'd say it's more than likely because she just simply lost attraction and respect for these guys because they didn't have the balls to stand up to her. He says most men don't know the rules, and as an alpha female, she easily finds their weaknesses and discards them. I was guilty of over-pursuing her in the beginning, but with your help, I have found the right place to generally stay connected with her, but let her feel comfortable and free to come and go. So he believes he's doing everything right. And if he was doing everything right, he wouldn't have been writing me the email in the first place. He'd be sending me a success story. But he's still new. He's only been through the book twice, so I won't break his balls too hard. He says, "About a month after we met, I fell in love. I couldn't believe I had met my queen. She is everything I want in a life partner." Dude, you just don't know her well enough to make that kind of decision. Slow your roll, man. He says, "However, I was not ready. I was recovering from my divorce emotionally and financially. She hasn't been ready either. She's afraid to commit to any one guy." Well, this is the story he's telling himself to rationalize her behavior. engaged to 3 different dudes in less than 5 years after being with a guy for who knows how long. I can't remember. I don't remember if he said how long they were married, but she'd been single for 5 years and her ex-husband was cheating on her. So you see some of the kind of same patterns. Because women who have their shit together, that come from a good family, they're not going to be engaged to 3 different dudes in just a few years. It just doesn't happen. They're selective, they take their time, and they're happy to be single until they find the right guy. Girls that are insecure, who have bad relationships or non-existent relationships with their fathers, they tend to behave like this. Because they just never learned which men to trust, which men are good, which men are men to stay away from. He says, I've always loved her freely. Whenever she's left, I let her go and I don't contact her. She's always come back. And the last time I asked her why, and she said, I don't know. You were always centered and I am drawn to you. Well, obviously you're letting her go and then you're moving on with your life and you're dating other people. And you don't keep pursuing to the point where you smother her, she sticks you in friend zone, and then you keep drooling all over her like a lot of guys tend to do that don't know any better. He says, over the past year, I've regained my emotional strength, accepted a great job, and have stabilized my life. I am now working my way out of debt and overall starting to live the life I should be living. At the same time, she has grown tired of not meeting men who meet her standards, and she is now ready to find a life partner. She's been engaged to 3 different dudes in the last 5 years. It sounds like she's been looking all along. But again, these are probably the things, the excuses that she's given him. And he goes, sounds logical, makes total sense. Now she's really ready. What he really wants is he wants her to be his queen, as he says. He says, we reconnected again in early July after not contacting each other for 3 months. We had a beautiful weekend, now listen to this, where we hung out, had fun, and fooled around, but no sex. He says, however, she was headed to California the following week to see her on-again, off-again boyfriend of 4 years. That sounds totally legit. She left and did not make contact for a month. Last week, she reached out and we agreed to meet. She wouldn't commit to dinner with me, but agreed to go on a hike. You notice what she did there? He's trying to set a date, even though she's seeing some other dude, and then he agrees to go on a hike. You're probably not going to have sex or hook up on a hike. You're doing something during the day. So you failed that test, dude. Because if you're strong enough to stand up for yourself, because you want sex and romance, and she's got another guy in her life, or on again, off. In other words, the guy she's actually fucking. And you're agreeing to go do a platonic type of thing. So the activity, in essence, cock blocks you from anything romantic happening. So if you followed 7 Principles to Get an Ex Back, a video and article I did several years ago, she would be coming to your house to make dinner together, or you wouldn't be making dates. But you were scared to stand up for yourself, or maybe you didn't know any better because you're still new, and so you agreed to do something that was a platonic type of get-together. That way she can, whatever she's not getting from the guy she's fucking, she can get with you. Because you're being her pal. And you'll notice that she mentions she uses the F word a lot, referring to him with the friendship word. He says, during our hike, she told me she had decided to commit to one man. Not the guy in California, but someone I didn't even know she had been dating for the past few months. Come on, man. She says he and I are very similar, but he's a Mormon, as she is, and I'm not. He's also more financially stable than I am right now. So these are the excuses. They sound legit. But at the end of the day, he hasn't had the balls to stand up and politely for himself and politely say, nah, I'm not interested in that. So it's like he's sending 2 different signals. On one hand, he's interested in sex and romance, but he agrees to do platonic things just so he can spend time with her. Because a lot of guys think, if I could just get around her, I'll convince her. But a man who values himself, who loves himself, who knows what he brings to the table this is like going on a hike. Is like, no. If you want to get together, I'd love to. It's been a long couple of weeks. I'm really tired. I'm not in the mood for a hike, but I would love to get together and maybe make dinner, have some wine, catch up. Because women know if you're making a date in the evening to make dinner together, that's a romantic type thing. But that's why she refused to go to dinner with him and instead went on a hike. Because that's where you fail a test. She got you, in other words, she sold you on why you needed to do the platonic activity instead of you selling her on why you should do the romantic activity. That's how you get blue balls. She gets butterflies with him, and that's new for her. I told her that I was glad she was in a place to try to have one committed relationship. Yeah, she really sounds like she's in a place to have a committed relationship. But that I wanted it to be with me. However, I didn't push her to define our relationship. Well, she didn't have to because you agreed to being friend by going on the hike. He says, although she kept bringing up friends. See, you go on a hike and she keeps referring to you as her friend. It's like, that's why she's got to come to you. She wants another chance with you. She's got to come to you. If she doesn't want to do that, then she's not really ready to entertain anything romantic. And that's why you politely decline the offer. Tell her you've been busy or you're tired. You're not for anything strenuous. That's why you don't meet him out for a drink. You don't go to coffee. You don't go to lunch. You don't do any of that crap with her. Especially when she refers to you as friend. That's her way of saying, this is how I look at you as platonic, and you're going, no, I'm interested in something romantic, but yeah, let's go on a hike or go have some coffee together. Your actions communicate that you're okay with friendship. We ended our hike, then she stayed for dinner and a movie, and spent the night in a separate bedroom. Oh boy, I bet that was a lot of fun. The next day, we snuggled, talked, and took another long hike. We ate, hung out, and rubbed coconut oil on each other's sunburns until 6:30 p.m., at which time I basically kicked her out so I could get ready for a date I had planned before she reached out. Well, it's good that you had a date lined up, but you shouldn't have agreed to do anything platonic. She's coming over to your house, you should have just said, let's do dinner. But instead you agreed to do the friendship type stuff. And she sleeps in another bedroom. That's not a successful negotiation, my friend. He says, we talked and touched each other the whole time. She admitted she was more her authentic self with me than anyone else. And then I know her better than even the guy in California she had seen for 4 years. So you're her emotional tampon, her gay male girlfriend, however you want to put it, and she's fucking the other guy in California and not you. That's why she's sleeping in a separate bedroom. We tell each other everything. Well, there's part of your problem. You're treating her like your buddy and your pal and your friend. Hang out, have fun, hook up. Not hang out, tell each other everything, and sleep in separate bedrooms. She has said she doesn't even know why she shares everything, good or bad, with me. Well, obviously you do a good job of opening her up and she likes talking to you. But you're still allowing her to keep you in friend zone. That's why you politely decline to do anything platonic if you're interested in sex and romance. I told her it's because she wants me to trust her completely, which she agreed with. So there's a couple things here in the next few paragraphs where he's like throwing things out of the book at her as stuff that's meant for a guy to understand where to come from, and he's throwing these things at her like lines that's going to make her panties drop. It's a misuse of what's in the book, my friend. He says, we have earned each other's highest trust. Really? Highest trust. And then you just found out about another guy that she says she wants to be committed to after she went with yet another guy out in California that she's sleeping with. We've earned each other's highest trust, and in many ways we have become best friends, but not lovers. He says, but she's still highly attracted to me, and she constantly wants my touch when we're together. Yeah, she just doesn't want the hot beef injection, and that's the most important kind of touch. At various times, we have had awesome sex, but when she is committed to other people, I have made sure to respect her boundaries. But we always end up fooling around. Yeah, but she's not going all the way with you. He says, on this last visit, she said it was obvious I had become more confident and more myself, and she could tell from the moment I greeted her. That's a good sign. But you're not doing it completely because you're still agreeing to do platonic things. Therefore, that's why she's fucking somebody else, and now apparently going to be in a committed relationship with yet another dude. She said her dad, who was a great guy and who she has a strong relationship with, told her that I am a great guy, which I take as a strong compliment, especially given that I am not Mormon like they are. All of that sounds nice, but at the end of the day, she ain't fucking you, bro. She's fucking somebody else. Despite all of these positive signs for us, she wants to be with this other guy. So she can keep you as the emotional tampon, as a backup plan in case things don't go well with the other guy. And at least up until this point, you've always been compliant with it. The day after she left, I sent her a message saying that although I had one of the best weekends of my life with her, I had told her before that I would not be second to any man in her life and that I could not compromise on that. Well, it's nice that you say that, but then you go out and do platonic hikes and things. Your words and your actions are not congruent. That's part of your problem. A man is always consistent. You're either in or you're out. You want to go and do something romantic, or you can call somebody else. Which obviously she's got a lot of other dudes on speed dial. I said that although I want her to be with me, I think it's a big step forward for her healing and growth that she wants to be in one committed relationship, that I loved her freely, and that I understand attraction is not a choice. Come on, dude. Come on, man. You don't say things out of the book like that, or like as if, what do you think of that one? Ha ha! The panties didn't drop. In order to help her focus on one relationship, I was cutting off all contact with her. I encouraged her to reach out if things didn't work out and she wanted to see me again, and that I felt at least a couple of months needed to go by before she should contact me. I then stopped sharing my Apple Watch fitness data, which we have been tracking each other and competing on fitness goals for the past 8 months, along with a playlist and photo album we shared, with the idea of showing her how to really cut people off. It's been a problem for her as she attracts so many men and doesn't want to hurt them, like you. So she ends up trying to stay in touch with everyone. She just likes the attention and validation from all the guys, because she's too insecure to go it alone until she finds the right guy. For her to grow and focus on a single relationship, she has to value her time and energy more, which was something we had discussed. Again, he's rationalizing all of these excuses. Oh, they sound legitimate, but at the end of the day, dude, she's not fucking you. She's fucking somebody else. She replied to my message by saying, "A million thanks for being you. I truly appreciate our beautiful friendship and your intuitiveness. Some time apart is exactly what we need, and we wished each other the best." 2 days later was my 50th birthday. She's 9 years younger than me, and her boyfriend is her age. I bet that felt good. Even though we had agreed no contact, I was a bit disappointed that she hadn't texted to say happy birthday. At about 5 p.m., she sent a message saying she was at my building. You got this girl on a pedestal, dude. You told her not to contact you unless she was interested in something romantic. So again, her test is, let's see. I live 30 miles from her. She dropped off a present, but she had forgotten the door code. I replied with the code and said I was at the gym, so she could just stick it inside my apartment. I had just left for the gym, but I knew not to turn around and chase her. Well, you did right there. So good job with that. She replied, "I don't want you to be upset because we agreed to not contact each other, but I couldn't help myself and wanted to get you something for your birthday." Well, you naked in my bed would have been perfect, but thanks for the gift. I had been a bit worried about how completely I had cut her off, and I wanted her to know, see, that's your problem. What if I never hear from her again? You're either in or you're out. This is a negotiation. You don't walk away from the negotiating table saying, "Nah, give me a call if you change your mind or you want to up your offer." Instead, he's going, "Oh, I hope she comes back." That's your problem. You're not willing to let her go forever. You're interested in sex and romance, whether it's with her or somebody else. You're thinking this is your soulmate. In the reality, you're just her gay male girlfriend and her emotional tampon. And the guy that validates her anytime she has doubts about herself. And I wanted her to know it was out of love, not spite, so my reply showed I was excited she had thought of me. A couple of hours later, I was back home and texted her that I truly appreciated her thoughtful gifts, and that I was blessed to know her. I know a bit of I know, a bit of putting her on a pedestal, but I want her to know I was not upset with her for anything. I don't want to upset the queen. She might get mad at me. She replied, good, I thought you'd be mad at me for contacting you when we agreed not to. Again, the gift is really, let me keep you in friend zone and kind of stroke your ego a little bit. Dangle the carrot in front of your face a little. He says, then I saw the test. I actually saw it the first time, but ignored it because I wanted her attention. The second time she made it obvious. I replied, we did, but I appreciate your effort. I didn't know how else to recover. I won't be reaching out to her, and I know I need to be strict with her about reaching out, but I could use some advice on how to navigate the next few months and how I should have handled this in the first place. So you got to, follow what I teach in 7 Principles Get an X Back. You got to let her do 100% of the calling, texting, and pursuing. I would not go anywhere to meet her out or pick her up or any of that bullshit if she reaches out in the future. And more than likely, considering all the dudes in her life, at some point she's going to reach back out. And the only thing that you're going to have to offer her, and the only distance that you're going to be willing to travel to see her, is the distance that it takes to go from wherever you are in your house to your front door to let her in. Make a date in the evening to make dinner together if she reaches out. If she's still with the other guy, you got to withdraw the offer and don't agree to hikes or any of that platonic bullshit. And then if she tells you she's still dating, I told you, I'm not interested in being your friend. And if you're dating somebody else, it's really kind of inappropriate if you have a boyfriend now that you're contacting me after our history together. So you should be meeting and dating other women. As far as this chick being your dream girl, you don't know that. You haven't spent enough time with her. He says, I feel like I have a 50% chance of seeing her again, and there isn't anything I could or should do about it. That is correct. Good assessment. It's really up to her. We have a chance to be the kind of couple that does everything together seamlessly. Work, home life, and recreation because we're so aligned. Again, you don't know that yet. You're pedestalizing this girl and you're projecting your fantasy onto her. I'm hopeful it works out, so I need to make sure I'm presenting the best of myself at all times to her. You got to present the best of yourself to the world, and that includes her and all other women potentially. But she's really a low-quality prospect, just looking at the fact that she was married to a liar and a cheater, and obviously she's deceiving the guys that she's supposedly in a relationship with if she's hanging out and fooling around with you. So if she's happy, she's probably loyal and faithful temporarily, but as soon as things don't look like they're going to work out, she's hanging out with some other dude. Is that what you really want for your queen? I think not. I appreciate any advice you can give on how to advance this relationship. Well, it's not a relationship, dude. It's just a potential dating prospect, and a low-quality one at that. That's just a reality. If and when I have the opportunity to do so, and how to keep things on track if she comes back again. Well, you got to read the book 10 to 15 times, but you should be, at this point, applying what's in 7 Principles to Get an X Back. She's got to come over 3 dates in a row, and as long as you hang out, have fun, and hook up all 3 times at your place, making dinner together in the evening, then you can go on regular dates, but she's got to do 100% of the calling, texting, and pursuing from here on out. Because the only way she's going to make you her man is if you give her the space and time to choose you over all others. And you do that by not pursuing. Because you tried your approach and it's not worked for the last year or 2. So let's go to the next guy's email. It says, Dear Coach, I have chased women for years and it has got me friend-zoned and blue-balled. Obviously the same situation as the first guy. Especially when I had real attraction for a girl. I thought your 20% to 80% ratio was bullshit until I realized how women I'm not into would pursue me. There you go. I might not always be right, but I'm never wrong. I met a girl on Tinder that knocked my socks off, but I was such a shy beta male pussy. I never set dates, we just acted as pen pals. The pen palmanship ended and I did not hear from her. 4 years later, after reading your book several times and meeting women, my purpose is paramount. Good job, dude. I cannot be strayed from the path I walk. Every goal I achieve increases my confidence, and every failure increases my knowledge. Now you're thinking. My beliefs and my purpose is firmly grounded into the person that I am. I can now help others achieve goals as a fitness trainer. She contacted me after 4 years of silence, and we got together. I went in for the kiss the first time we hung out. When she showed resistance, I gently backed away, knowing all the while her desire for me to be inevitable based on her body language. 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. Right out of the book. Good job, dude. She seemed stoked about me, but canceled last minute on our second date. I told her it's all good. We'll hang out some other time. Notice he didn't try to reschedule. She just canceled. He's like, hey, we'll do it some other time. So in other words, he mirrored right back to her lack of enthusiasm and lack of interest. The problem I experienced was due to the long period of being a big pussy to her. True, because that caused her to form an opinion of you, which obviously wasn't the one you wanted. She tested me more than any woman ever has. I honestly liked her, but had to continue to date other women, and when she got in touch with me, I'd say, when are you free to get together? Come to my place. Okay, some other time is a broken record. I had to walk away and mean it. So eventually he worked up the nerve to do what the first guy is like on the verge of like almost doing. He's getting there. We still got a ways to go. He said, we are currently in a relationship. She asked me to be her man, and she submits to my masculine core, but checks me when I show weakness. I am learning to break down her barriers and communicate. When I do that, her legs seem to open up. Your book has changed my life. I will read it repeatedly and also teach others the material. Good job. So the first guy, he's moving in the right direction. He's getting there. He's making progress, but he's not quite there yet. So if you are in a situation like this and you're going, I don't know if this girl is the right girl or the wrong girl for me, I want to get Coach Corey's opinion, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.